In the last lesson, you saw how Xcode can automatically create a view controller and wire it up for you. You even added code to this view controller. At this point, you might be wondering, what is a view controller? And how do I know what methods to override in it? As we're going to see, the documentation will be our guide. The view controller is a special kind of class that, as the name implies, controls a view. It handles all of the actions required by that view. In iOS development, this means that this class is usually a subclass of UI View Controller, inherited from the UIKit framework. The view controller is called by iOS when certain events happen to it, or your app overall. In the beginning, your app is not running. As soon as the icon is pressed, it moves through the inactive state and immediately into the active state. When an event happens, maybe a phone call, or the user decides to go to another app, your app will transition to the inactive state and then to the background. From the background state, after a few seconds, it will go to the suspended state. What happens when the user wants to go back to your app? If your app is in the background, it will go through the inactive state to being active. Last but not least, if iOS needs more memory and your app is in a suspended state, it may be moved off memory entirely, and we're back to the beginning of this diagram to the not running state. How do I know what functions UI View Controller has that I should override? How do I know which functions get called and under what events in the state diagram? It's all in the documentation, and it's always the first place you should look. Now it's a good time to learn how to open up documentation in Xcode. Let's open up the viewcontroller.swift file and navigate to the top. Here you can see the line that shows that the viewcontroller class inherits from UI View Controller. If you hold down the Option key, you can see that the cursor changes to a question mark when we go over a class. In this example, UI View Controller. If we click once, we can see a contextual menu come up showing us all the information about the UI View Controller class. Clicking anywhere else dismisses this contextual menu. If you click anywhere, you can dismiss the documentation pop-up. Another way to see the full documentation is to hold down the Option key, but this time double-click on the UI View Controller class. This will show you the documentation window and open it in full screen, showing us UI View Controller. Another way to view the documentation window is to go under Help and choose Documentation and API Reference. You can also get this window to come up by using the key combination Shift, Command, and 0 anywhere within Xcode. Take a moment now to look for View Did Load under the UI View Controller documentation.